because we've had numerous studies done, costing millions of dollars, some of which you and I paid for, and there's no evidence, nobody's ever shown us a site where it's been done safely. So, and that's the bottom line. Look at it this way. If there was a way to do it safely and effectively, they'd be showing the film tonight about it right here instead of us showing the film. Keep that in mind. So this is up to us to take care of ourselves. We need economic development. Everybody here wants that. But it's one of our researchers from China told us that he said, look, you don't quench your thirst by drinking poison. So thanks for coming. And also, I think at this point we need to give Jack and Sarah a warm reception and thanks for what they've done. So Sarah. Great job of it. Now, when I found out about this issue, I went immediately to Virginia Beach because I knew they needed to know about this situation. And I went into the Public Affairs Director's office, Tom Leahy, and I told the secretary I need to see the director. She said, what's the matter? I says, potential uranium mining upstream from Lake Aspen. Well, Tom not only came out, he ran out of his office to meet me and said, hey, I'm here to talk to you. What's this all about? So we've been close and worked together ever since. Virginia Beach has been a great partner with us. Not only has Tom been a great help, the city council, the mayor, and their lobbyists have all helped us greatly. So, Tom, come on up and tell us a little bit about what you want at Virginia Beach.
The invitation to come here and watch the documentary tonight. The city of Virginia Beach and the city of Norfolk and the city of Chesapeake and all of the jurisdictions of the Hampton Road Planning District Commission, which I think adds up to about 17 jurisdictions, are all on record opposing uranium mining in the Roanoke River Basin. We understand that it may very well be that the chances of a catastrophic release of tailings is a very low probability or a small chance, but the consequences, if it does happen, are very great. When you talk about risk, you multiply the probability times consequence, and that's what's risky. So if the consequence is truly unacceptable, it doesn't matter how small the probability is. Our modeling, while it does show significant impacts of a potential catastrophe in the downstream in Carr Reservoir at Lake Gaston, actually 87% of all the releases end up in the Bannister River. And in fact, our modeling shows that the real long-term problem is the environmental effects of all the releases that would end up in the Bannister River and in Carr Reservoir, and they'll be there forever until someone dredges them out. So, our modeling clearly shows that Halifax would have a lot of reason to be concerned, even if the amounts released were very small compared to what we modeled. So anyway, again, I want to thank you for being here and let you know that the city of Virginia Beach and all of Southeast Virginia is on your side.
Thanks so much, Tom. And just imagine how much play we would have with 38,000 in this county, and they've got like 3 million down there or whatever. If we didn't have these folks on our side, that water that you all take from us is worth every penny of it to us. So you're going to help save us too. And, thank you so much, Tom. Sarah put this together. I had heard about this film, and I put Sarah on it. She's my girl. It took a while to get in touch with Liz, but when she did, they hit it off right away. And I'm going to ask Sarah to come up and introduce Liz.
I have to write things down, so don't forgive me for having to read what I'm going to say, but thank you all. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. Big thank you to my dad who got me into this too, but we're all here for the same cause. And before we meet the actual stars of the evening, I want to say a big thank you to all the behind-the-scenes stars who have worked so hard to make this such a successful event. I won't name them all individually, but you know who you are. Our co-sponsors, volunteers, family members, your countless hours, conference calls, meetings, donations of time and money mean so much. We don't get paid to do this, we just love the place we call home. And we will do whatever it takes to protect it and our families. But we all have a role to play, each and every one of us. So please take home a checklist of things you can do. Spend a little time sending out a letter to a politician or make a phone call to those people on the handouts. They are elected to represent the best interests of the people they serve, and your voice does matter. Donate your time and money to any of these nonprofit organizations here tonight. And talk to your family, friends, and coworkers and church members. Ask them to do the same. We're happy to have with us tonight Liz Rogers, her two grandsons Taylor and Nate, and the great film crew of Kevin and Brian Flint. The stars, pardon the pun, truly aligned themselves for this event to happen at a critical time in our battle against uranium mining. Liz has been called the Erin Brockovich of uranium mining. She and her Oscar Award-winning husband, Donald Rogers, and I wish she had brought one of his Oscars here tonight to display. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, they have combined their passions and talents to travel the world, take the back roads, and tell stories that matter. Liz, I bet you and your crew had to travel some real back roads to get from LA to Halifax. We traveled some today too, didn't we? I think I stepped in several mud holes. Speaking of back roads, we took Liz and her film crew all over Halifax County, the Bannister River, and out to the proposed mining site at Coles Hill in Pennsylvania County. They filmed it all because Liz feels our fight here in Virginia is so important that she wants to add our story to her documentary. We wanted to show them what a beautiful place it is that we call home, and while we are fighting so hard to protect it, our families, our future generations, property values, livelihoods, our clean air and water. Because no matter what, all that I just mentioned is worth more than uranium. Liz, I cannot thank you enough, your family and crew, for making this film and making this journey to help us in our battle. You are a true hero. Now, without further ado, I am so pleased and honored to introduce you to my new best friend, Liz Rogers.
Those are 10-minute shoes. And I am much more used to wearing hiking boots and tennies now than being in Hollywood, so I am really not Hollywood. I am so deeply, deeply honored to be here tonight. First and foremost, my two babies, Taylor and Nathan, stand up and show off those sexy tuxedo t-shirts you like to And I started this process with Kevin Flint, who is a genius, and Kevin, please stand up and please give Kevin He's extraordinary. Kevin and I have been working on this for over 4 years, and he has only accepted what small bits of cash I can give him here and there, and he's turned down the work to continue working on this, and he's really an extraordinary talent, and I could not have done it without him. Both he and I agreed that had we known when we started what this would turn into, we would have gotten real jobs. But because we're so grateful that the universe and God just tends to have his own plan, once we got out of the way of ourselves and let nature take its course with this film, people like you, every one of you, have made it happen. Not us. We just have a beer and I got a big mouth. That's it. You know, I'm from California, you know. We don't have history, we just have a reputation. And coming back here, you know, you can feel history in the air. Being invested in Dunham's today, where your family has been on this property for over 200 years. And I said, since I was a child, they've been on this property, and I live in a condo in Long Beach, you know. And so you come to a place like this and see the land and see the beauty of this place. It's hard to really comprehend what this all means. And to think that we have the risk of blowing all of it, and poisoning the land and our people and our babies with something that we cannot control. It's too big. We can't clean it up. Once it spills, it's dangerous and it's poison. I would ask for your patience while you watch the film, because I am not a professional. I also told everybody today that I came to town on 6 o'clock turnip truck. When it came to this, you know, I had the camera and an attitude. We just started filming in South Dakota, and we literally thought that's the only place this problem was in the Black Hills. I mean, I was that dumb. And then we found out, well, there might be something in Colorado, so we went there. And we found there might be something in Utah, and we went there. And thank God my husband handed me a credit card and said, make it happen. And that's how we ended up here. And that is thanks to Sarah, because she contacted me, and she talked me and got me on the phone with Jack. And it was all over. It was all over. I said, okay, the movie's not done. I've got to work on. We're going to do one more segment and for you all, for you. And for the people who don't know what a half-life is, who don't know what it means to drink water that has radiation in it, that has alpha radiation, that has these heavy chemicals, these heavy metals in it, these radionuclides. It's terrifying. We've all been touched by cancer. Anybody in here have a friend who has died or is dying of cancer? How many hands? Everybody. My age, I just turned 60. When I was growing up, we didn't know anybody with cancer. Handful of me. And now I married 2 grandchildren. One of them with cancer. How many of you have buried babies from this? And when I talked to the EPA in Denver, I talked to the EPA about this, and they would not let me put this on camera. But I was talking about the cancer in children near these mining sites. And the guy from the EPA, the representative, looked me in the eye and said, prove it. Wow, really? You're saying that to me? Prove it? Really? This is poison. Any way you look at it. And it doesn't matter how many swimming pool liners you put down. It doesn't matter how much cement you wrap around it. Once you wrap up the poison, that stuff is going to stay toxic and deadly for tens of thousands of years. Much longer than any number of swimming pool liners or cement or stainless steel or anything else is going to keep it safe. And if it gets out, it is going to poison. When it gets out, it is going to poison everything around it. I have to stop. When I say now that I know enough about the issue to be incredibly annoying at dinner parties, and my circle of friends is shrinking dramatically. I think now we'll just let the movie speak for itself. And after the screening, I really would welcome meeting each and every one of you, regardless of your position on the issue. If you know something I don't, if you're a proponent of this mining and you want this to happen, tell me where I'm wrong. Please tell me, convince me that I'm wrong. No one's been able to do it yet. And there's no mining company who's been willing to talk to me that's been able to convince me of it. There's no science to back that. It's dangerous and it's poison. I know I had a great time. So, now, all right. You want to warm up that machine again? Where's that? Hi.
Hi, I came to see this documentary called Hot Water because we are in hot water literally as a state, as Virginia is and North Carolina is, and really the nation is. After you see this documentary, you realize how devastating the uranium mining business has been over the last 50 years or so, and this business continues to be just as dangerous, even though as you look at the devastation that's happened in the last years, the new claims are that they mine things safer than they used to. But as they pointed out in this documentary, there is no safe way to contain anything for thousands of years. And I know from many years of experience with landfills that you can't contain anything, ever. A landfill liner made of clay and plastic, I don't care if you have 10 layers of it, it's permeable, it breaks down. So the new best standards, best practices for mining, it's based on what's called the ALERA standard, as low as reasonably achievable, because it's quite apparent that there is no way to achieve containment of radioactivity, whether it's in mining or reactors or whatever the situation is. And so this film is actually devastating. I'm really happy to have seen it, and I feel like Liz, the producer, that I've been really ignorant. I didn't know all this about uranium until North Carolina is in the back door of Virginia, and I'm from North Carolina. And now I am learning so much about how devastating this is, and I realize that the reason that the people around this nation haven't really learned about what's been going on in the West for all these years is because the populations are sparser, and so for all these years the message just hasn't resonated, at least not on the East Coast. And so, here on the East Coast, we need to learn from the lessons of the past and the present and the West, where they're decimated by nearly 3,000 abandoned uranium mines. But this proposed site in Virginia is the largest deposit in North America, and they showed in this film what 16 million tons of radioactive mine tailings look like, and this proposed facility at Coles Hill in Virginia would have 120 million tons of this radioactive waste tailings that would be contaminated forever. So even though the film is devastating, bottom line is 84% of the people in the Badlands, or something like that, I may not have the numbers right, have cancer. So the bottom line is that I'm fired up. This film fired me up. I was already fired up, but I'm fired up more than ever.
What type of impact do you think this movie will have?
I think if we can actually, get this film out to the broader public, I think it could have an immense impact on the nuclear industry, because ever since 3 Mile Island, they really haven't been able to build very many new nuclear reactors. Although I understand that the federal government, Senator Feinstein and several others are sponsoring the Nuclear Reform Act. And as I read this act, sort of cursorily, it looks like they say that they're going to try to site nuclear waste facilities in a consensual way, but I can't imagine what community is going to consent to it. And it looks like, as they're writing it into the bill, that they will continue to use, quote, temporary standards for how to get rid of the nuclear waste, because they're never going to get permanent facilities in a community, that consents. So there's only one answer: stop using it.
Stop making the nuclear waste.
And stop lying to the public that it's a safer, cheaper way to go. I keep looking at the Heritage Foundation that keeps promoting this uranium mining, and I read this the other day that they said one of the components of environmentalism is individual freedom and economic freedom, and it's insane.
James and my daughters, Jeannie and Catherine. And we are here because we are doing whatever it takes to make sure that no more uranium comes out of the ground anywhere. And certainly not in Virginia. There's no way to mine it safely anywhere. There's absolutely no way to mine it safely in such a way. We're doing whatever